Hello there, all Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Welcome to Radiant Moon Tarot. My name is Victoria, and we have your February 2026 money and career reading here for you. We have a couple of really important astrological energies to point out here. On the 3rd of February, Uranus goes direct in the sign of Taurus. And this is just 2 days after a full moon in Leo on February 1st. So this can be where there's some enlightenment coming in. This is where something may manifest for you. You may have an opportunity opening up for you. Uranus in Taurus can be significant changes in our money sector. Taurus rules our second house of money, income, possessions, belief systems around money and our values, ruled by Venus. And Venus at that time will be in Aquarius. And so this can bring about some innovative ideas, open the door for opportunities that can set us up for financial future or abundance or financial independence, financial freedom for the future. Perhaps turn some big ideas into something really where we can make a lot of money. But Uranus is our wild card planet. It is known for bringing in kind of some shakeups and opportunities, and usually in kind of weird and unexpected ways. Uranus's job is to awaken us, known as the Great Awakener, awaken to the possibilities, awaken to new opportunities, awaken to, getting rich or just feeling secure. But it also frees us from the things that are inhibiting our growth. So sometimes Uranus can feel a little bit wild, but it's always for a benefit, but usually does bring in some changes. 17th of February, we have an annular solar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which is why I touched on that first. And this energy, yes, does affect everybody, because Aquarian energy ruled by Uranus, it affects the people, right? Aquarian energy is community, it's humanitarian, and it is the people. And so Uranus can already be bringing in some shakeups, but Pluto is in Aquarius as well. And Pluto, yes, Pluto deals with the dark and dangerous things, right? Pluto deals with the things that are hidden, but Uranus can free us from those things. And with a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius mid-month, this can be a very significant turning point. And so this can be a new beginning, a fresh start. This can be where things have been resolved. This is where we see people taking their power back in new and interesting ways. And as for you with your money, this can be new job opportunities, new business opportunities. You could be, some people with this energy, you might really be wanting to change careers, or perhaps you're looking out into the future and saying, where do I want to be? And am I happy and safe and secure where I am right now? Or, is there a little bit something better or more favorable out there for me? And so whether this is moving to another city, some of you could be, can have some really unexpected things come in, and you might be setting up for buying your own home. Some of you could make some profit off of some investments, that kind of thing, but you can also be like maybe relocating and moving where you live. And, because maybe, perhaps this is where some job opportunities may be. Sometimes we have to pack up and move to find those. But this can also be where some of you might look and say, you know what, if I have this high paying, high stress job right now, but if I move, then my living expenses are cheaper, my costs are cheaper, and I don't actually have to make as much money, but I can be a little bit happier. So this is where that innovative, interesting kind of Aquarian flair comes in. But new beginnings come in with that, and with a solar eclipse, because it is a new moon, there's things that can transpire and come to fruition within a couple of weeks, but typically 6 months and up to 2 years. So we've got very short term, we've got midterm, and we've got long term. So embrace that energy, though. Great for manifestations. And then on February 20th, we have an exciting conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, and both in the sign of Aries. So something is ignited. there. Saturn, of course, does get a bad rap sometimes, right? But it delays, it doesn't deny. There's usually something that we have to learn. But Saturn is our planet of goals and responsibilities and discipline, which can really be beneficial with Neptune air energy, and especially in the sign of Aries, because this is discipline and goals to make our fantasies, our imagination, our dreams into reality. And Aries energy does ignite that spark, that passion, that flame, and gets things going, right? So we've got some really important energy here for you. So if you've been feeling like you've been stuck or stagnant, or you've been lacking growth or opportunity, this can be over the next month or two where things really can change. So let's get into your cards. Okay, we've got second house, business finances coming in for you. So this Uranus Taurus energy can be really helpful for you. Our second house is our focus on our money, our income, how we spend our money, how we invest it, what we buy, what we own, and the value that we put on those things. So with this energy here, some business finances may need your attention. If you own your own business, but this can be where, you also can really look at where you work and, what is your motivation for staying there? Are you getting paid what you're worth, right? Because in the second house, we recognize our value. Right. And, of course, a lot of companies, right, they'll pay their CEOs, Lord knows how many millions of dollars, and then they'll pay their little worker bees peanuts. But the worker bees are the ones that keep that company afloat. So, sometimes we can't get out of that. We can't change our environment necessarily, but we can change ourselves and we can change our situation sometimes. So this can be really a big focus on your career path, on your businesses, and, saying, do I need to make a change? Does something need my attention? But this can bring in some growth and opportunity here as well. We also have your ninth house with expansion. Beautiful. Now your ninth house, this is you, right? This is a focus on learning and growth, where you want to expand, where you need to expand. The ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter, right? And so where do you see yourself going? Do you need to learn something? Some of you here, in order to improve your earning potential, perhaps you're going back to school. Some of you here with the ninth house energy, you are going on a trip, or you're relocating. We can relocate with the ninth house energy. But the ninth house is, where can I expand? Where can I grow? Where does my opportunities lie? What can I uncover? And so this shows that there is an opportunity for expansion in some way. Expand your mind, expand your income potential, or expand your business, right? Perhaps some of you are looking to tap into some resources there so that you can expand your business, or you can get a business off the ground, right? But this can also be, again, expanding your career path and your career potential here as well. So expansion energy is always really quite positive. And so sometimes we are held back by fear. But this ninth house energy can be a little bit fearless and very open-minded in its energy, because it is that Sagittarian vibe there, and with that Jupiter vibe as well. And so it's like you get rewarded for stepping out of your comfort zone. You get rewarded for, expanding your way of thinking, or being willing to learn something new, or expand on your education, expand on your knowledge base in some way. So that's really awesome. We've got the King of Wands, Page of Swords, expansion of the mind and taking action, and the Page of Wands. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom right there. Now you could be dealing with a number of people. in your money house or in your businesses. Some of you here could potentially be interviewing new people. Page of Swords, Page of Wands, you're hiring someone new. King of Wands, you're the boss, you're the leader, you're the supervisor, you're the business owner, you're the entrepreneur, right? And you are looking to hire an extra employee. So again, ninth house energy, expansion. And so this can be where you're like, I need to get myself out of the weeds, right? And if you're a business owner, right, you know that your focus should be on the growth of your company and, making sure that your reputation is good and getting out and networking or advertising or all that kind of stuff. But you may need, and you may be in the position now where you're ready to hire somebody to take care of the day-to-day. Right? Take care of opening shop or taking inventory or, making your product or whatever it happens to be. Right. And so with the pages coming in here, some of you could have one or two new people coming into your world. All right. But also here, the King of Wands can just be you feeling confident in whatever you're doing. The kings are leaders. All right. They're also very skilled and very masterful and very successful. So this can be the energy that you are embracing. We've got some fiery vibes coming in, and that can be potentially that Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, right? Something has sparked us into taking some initiative, some action, or getting something off the ground or making some change, right? The Page of Swords. The Page of Swords can be a new person talking with people, but the Page of Swords is known for bringing in messages, communication, especially in the form of technology. Some of you might be investing in some new technology, whether it's a computer, whether it's like a new phone or something like that. You could also be, entering into or doing something with technology that gets the word out for yourself, okay, or put yourself out there. The Page of Swords, not only does it bring us messages and communication and potentially some news, with the Page of Wands, it could be something really exciting. But the Page of Swords is very open-minded and very curious about things and filled with big ideas and possibilities. And then the Page of Wands energy is like, okay, great. We've got this idea. Let's go for it. Let's roll with it. Let's see what's going on. Because that Page of Wands energy is this breath of fresh air. It's exciting. It's got a lot of potential, but it's always up for a little bit of an adventure, right? So it's again, all this kind of fresh, new energy. So it can be that you've got a little bit of a revival coming in here in some way. You might also be in a position where you are being put in charge of a team, right? And this can actually really boost your reputation, right? So you might hand select some people in your workplace if you work for others, or you could have some new employees that come in and you're like, with that King of Wands, you're the senior person. No word of a lie, this is quite, it's not just your energy coming in here, but this can also be quite people-y. So you could be dealing with multiple people here, especially towards the early stages of the month. And this can be, it's all upright, it's all positive, but sometimes if you're like the senior person in your workplace and you've got all these new people in your training, it can be a little bit exasperating sometimes. And it's like, I don't want to babysit people, but that might be the position that you're in. But what this can actually do is show your boss that, I bring more to the table than just the knowledge of my job. Right. And so this can really boost your reputation in some way. So it can have some very exciting things going on for you. Certainly some movement here. Got the 9 of Coins, and there you go. 9 of Coins brings success and abundance, and it's earned. You earned it, right? The 9 of Coins is an energy of, I've finished up something. I've completed a task. I've finished the stage of my journey. I've earned some money. I've improved my reputation. I'm feeling good. And the 9 of Coins is where we, it's like a luxury energy, right? So we do something nice for ourselves because we've earned it. right? So you might be spending some money for yourself. Again, some of you might be going on a trip with that ninth house energy, very expansive, usually like a bigger trip, something overseas, perhaps something to a different country, something a little bit further than just hopping in a car for a weekend, right? So you might be making some big vacation plans there because you deserve it. You earn it. The ninth house, it's like, I know my worth, right? You may also be stepping into a situation where nine of coins, I know my worth and I'm not going to settle for anything less. And with that page of swords, page of wands, you might be exploring opportunities for change, and you just might find them, right? Because that page of wands brings in that little exciting energy. So some of you may have a career change that you're lining yourself up for. And again, with this ninth house energy expansion, look outside the box, because sometimes we need to expand our horizons or open up our viewpoint or look at the possibilities of things, and not kind of not pigeonhole ourselves. And just remember that if you are looking for a job and you're looking for a list of qualifications, depending, of course, what your career path is, right? Obviously, if you come across an ad and someone's looking for a doctor, but you've never been to medical school, you're not going to get that job, okay? But there are plenty of jobs out there where you look at the list of requirements, and this is where sometimes HR people just go completely off the chain. And I'm not dissing HR people at all, but I've worked in that. And believe me, I know. And that sometimes you're just looking at your coworkers who are putting together these job descriptions, and you're like, are you out to lunch? Like, totally. You want to pay someone, minimum wage, but you want them to have 4 years of experience in a supervisory role. That's not going to fly, right? And so it's ridiculous things like that. So sometimes when we're looking for a job, we need to look at those list of requirements and go, okay, is this like an absolute must have? Or if you feel that you can do the job, or you've got some relevant experience, just apply, right? Because HR might have this big wish list, doesn't mean they're going to get it, right? And I have gotten jobs before where I didn't necessarily know half the stuff, or or have experience in some of the things, because it's very like industry specific or something, and I just applied anyway, because one thing that I am is adaptable, and and a quick learner, right? And so I know that those are my strengths, and so even if I don't know something, I'll pick it up really quickly. And so so this can be part of your strength as well, right? So sometimes if you get the real gut feeling that I can do this job, right, then you can talk things through in an interview, right? Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. But anyways, that nine of coins is really fantastic. Oh, you've got the Wheel of Fortune too. Isn't that wonderful? Now the Wheel of Fortune right in the heart of your reading, and we've got the 10 of wands. So I do feel here that some of you are leveling up in some way. Now we do have the Page of Wands, and we've got the 10 of wands. Okay, so some of you are ready to take on more responsibility, more workload, right? We've got leadership energy coming in there with that King of Wands, and the 10 of wands. It can, like in a career sense, it can be a couple of different things. Yes, the 10 of wands is like the very end of a cycle, the culmination of something, right, is a 10. Okay, but it can lead into new beginnings, right? Because numerologically, the 10s break down into a 1, which is ignition, which is spark, which is activation, right? Which is something new or taking something up to the next level. So it can be a really exciting energy. And the 10 of wands in a career path can be that I am ready to take on more responsibility. I'm ready to take something to the next level. You've been proving yourself to the boss, right? But you're not willing to do all this extra workload. 10 of wands, we got a lot of workload, right? We're not willing to do all this extra workload unless we are 9 of coins rewarded for it, right? So again, you might be assessing a situation that you're in and saying, I know my worth. I've done all of this extra work and I have not been rewarded for it. Wheel of Fortune. I'm ready for change, right? And that Wheel of Fortune in the heart of your reading, the Wheel of Fortune is attached with the 9th house because the Wheel of Fortune is ruled by Jupiter. So you've got this big influence coming in here for you. And so again, you might be ready for change. There could be something unexpected and a surprise coming in here for you because, of course, let's face it, that Wheel of Fortune can be a little bit of luck. But it can also be something unexpected, right? And with that 10 of Wands there, if you're feeling the heavy burden and you're not being rewarded in your workplace and you haven't had a raise forever and you keep getting work piled on top of you, why? Because new employees are starting or people are leaving and you're picking up that slack, right? You might be 10 of Wands, tired and burnt out. And if you can't put up boundaries and start saying no, right? 10 of Wands, then change is in the air for you. But regardless of your career situation or your money situation, yes, the Wheel of Fortune can bring in an increase for you. It is an upward cycle. It is energy of increase, growth, opportunities, surprises, and of course, a little bit of luck, right? Your good fortune is shining upon you, Virgo. So go with the flow. The Wheel of Fortune always reminds us to go with the flow and look at the positive, right? Again, it's bringing in a Jupiter influence, and Jupiter energy is positive, right? Directly tied with manifestations and your goals. And remember, wherever you put your focus, wherever you put your energy, wherever you put your attention, that is what is going to expand and grow for you. So if we're looking at negative, or if we're always, kind of looking at the dark side of things, or we don't believe that there's possibility out there, then we're not going to see it, right? It's not going to happen, right? Because you're not open to it, right? So try and maintain some positive outlook and positive energy, no matter what your situation is. And if you look at all of your cards so far, they're all positive, right? And so you could have helpful people. You might be meeting new people. You might be doing some networking. You've got growth coming in here. You've got success coming in here. And Debbie Downer over here with the 10 of Wands can again be, go a couple of different ways. It can represent, I'm done with this situation and I'm ready for something new. It can represent, oh my goodness, I'm being used and abused and I need to start saying no instead of, having everyone else's workload packed onto me. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? Because you can't hold on to that burden forever. But it can also be, I'm strong and I'm capable of taking on more responsibility and I'm ready for, leveling up, right? So it can go a number of different ways, but it's 10 of Wands, not necessarily always negative, although it can be. We've got the 7 of Wands. Standing up for yourself, advocating for yourself, facing your challenges. We've got the Moon coming in there. A little bit of mystery maybe coming in here for you guys. And we've got the 8 of Coins. You're ready to level up, right? The 8 of Coins is very much, it's a positive card. It's a productive card, right? You're rolling up your sleeves, you're getting to work, you're using your skills, your experience, your eye for detail to get things done. You're working hard. Some of you might be working some overtime. Again, that 8 of Coins, right? With that 10 of Wands, you're working very hard, right? But the 8 of Coins is achieving a level of mastery, a level of skill. And it says, I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready to level up, right? Because this is a card of apprenticeship and learning as well. And so this is where the student graduates. The apprentice becomes the journeyman. The worker bee becomes the supervisor, right? That kind of stuff, right? So this is where we're working hard, we're achieving things, we're getting things done, but we're also ready, for the next level. And you do have the 9 of Coins here as well. So I feel like you're really focusing on your goals. And if you focus on your goals and the things you want, then you will achieve them. But the 7 of Wands right here, and this is a position of power and strength. The 7 of Wands is an energy of being confident and overcoming fears and doubts. It is one where we turn and we face something that is challenging and we turn and face it head on. And we're rising above it, right? So this is where, the best way to deal with an issue is to face it is to deal with it, right? That way it's not lingering, it's not bothering us at all. The Seven of Wands also is where you advocate for yourself. You come across as positive, you come across as confident, and this is where you can just deal with issues or really state your case. And so sometimes that Seven of Wands, we are advocating just for ourselves, but that Seven of Wands can also be about advocating for other people as well. And we do have that King of Wands, and we've got two people. So again, you might be in a certain position where, there's stuff going on in your company and, a lot of extra work, and no one's getting paid any extra. And so you could be advocating for Nine of Coins, more money. Right. So just remember that you can do that if there might be something that you don't know, right? Because we've got the Moon card, which can keep things hidden sometimes, but the Moon can be a wonderful energy, closing out cycles, bringing in new cycles. And of course, the Moon, the lunations in February can be very important for you as well. So again, we've got a full moon in Leo, February 1st, right? And a full moon can bring things to fruition. So manifestations can come out, right? Within a couple weeks after that full moon. And so it could be a hidden opportunity, exciting opportunities. It can be something that, you didn't previously see, right? Because the Moon can cast a shadow, can keep things in the dark, right? There could also be something that you might be in the dark about, right? And, this is where you might need to kind of ask some questions, draw the line in the sand, and discover what's really going on, or discover some opportunities, or open up, get some clarity around something that is not quite apparent to you right at this moment. Okay, so there could be some revelation there. But the Moon also, we've got that solar eclipse, right? Igniting something, and you've got some great, great growth energy coming in here, and some potential changes, right? And don't forget that Wheel of Fortune is right in the heart of your reading. So be open to something weird and wonderful. Be open to possibilities, because you just never quite know what's going to happen, especially with that Moon. But trust your intuition, trust your instincts. The Moon brings about Pisces energy. And Pisces, interestingly enough, Pisces is ruled by Neptune. And again, we go right back to February 20th, and this is the latter part of February 20th, the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune. This is a fairly rare event. Certainly not something that happens all the time, right? And so this can be that, kind of ignition point for you, and it can be really exciting. And that Pisces energy is right there, right? And so this does bring in that Neptune influence of imagination, of fantasies, of what are you dreaming about, right? Well, let's see what we can do to make it happen. So you could have some changes in the wind here, and potentially some opportunities, right? But the Moon can bring in some creative energy, and it can also kind of bring up your fear. But the Moon encourages us to recognize our fear and work through it, right? Feel the fear, okay? Fear, do not let fear hold you back. And we do have, again, remember, we've got expansion and growth. We've got the Wheel of Fortune here for you, right? So don't let fear keep you in the dark, right? Don't let fear prevent you from making change. So interesting energy coming in here for you guys. A little bit of mystery may be in the works for you here. And it may just be that you just don't necessarily have all the answers at the moment, but they will come. Let's get a couple of fortune messages here for you. And we have a protective charm will bring you safety and peace. All right. So, some of you will benefit from, carrying crystals around, especially if there's like anything challenging you, bring some, put a crystal in your pocket or something with the moon, right? Negative or fearful energy that may come to the surface, right? And so, it's something like carrying a tourmaline or something, or selenite can be really helpful for that. I love selenite, or a moonstone, right? Can help you in that. Or, maybe you just have a lucky charm. And if you're going to go out on a job interview, and because you might be meeting new people up here, right? And if you've got a lucky charm, just put it in your pocket, right? Hey, we all have things like that as we go through life, right? Whether it's a lucky sock or a rabbit's foot or a crystal or a piece of jewelry, right? It can just kind of maybe give you a little bit of an energy boost, right? Because you got positive energy associated with it. We have your spirit guides are near, seek their guidance. Okay. And that can be where some of this moon energy is coming in, highlighting your psychic gifts, your abilities, and, perhaps reminding you to not just work with the lunations, but also call upon your angels, your spirits, your guides, right? They will always help you, and guide you through things. They will also show you a path. Right. And again, you got to be open to it, because sometimes it's something that you never thought about, something that you didn't previously see. And let's get your final message from our angels of abundance. And we've got dreams of abundance. Beautiful. As you sleep, the universe, your angels, and your higher self are giving you divinely guided ideas, answers, and solutions. Be sure to record your dreams in a journal, because they contain valuable insights that will help you manifest your desires into reality. That's Saturn, Neptune right there. All right. So take that hint from the angels of abundance. I'm going to leave all that there, you guys. Pretty good energy is coming in here for you. I hope you enjoyed your reading. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic month. Bye.